Hello, my name is Debo Adejana, real estate entrepreneur, MD CEO, Realty Point Limited, and this is Real Estate Business with Debo Adejana. You're welcome. Now today, it's a tribute day. This is dedicated to the memory of a man, a mentor, a great gem who impacted my life greatly in many ways that I can begin to recount, okay? We lost him a few weeks ago. Renowned real estate practitioner, estate surveyor and valuer, ESV Akin Olawore, popularly called AO Akin Olawore. He's an internationally renowned professional I met even well before I started my journey into real estate business, and he was part of the people that gave me my solid foundation and have been, very close and there for me always. It was unfortunate he passed on unexpectedly at not too old age, but we thank God that he lived a life that impacted a lot. He was, to me, a great mentor, a friend, a father figure, a business partner. I will forever, remember him. And so, in doing this in his honor, I want to share some of the lessons I picked from him. Just about 5 of them. That's what I'll be sharing in this episode. I bet you will learn massively. You will learn greatly listening to this episode. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Now, ordinarily, one should be sad that such a man had to leave at such a fairly young age. But you see, I got consoled by the fact that wherever he is now, and I know he's in a great place, I am definitely sure of that, okay? If he's asked to come back, he will tell us, don't worry, I'm already enjoying myself here, you guys should carry on. So, his passage is our own loss. As far as he's concerned now, is fulfilled. So it is our responsibility just to live our lives the best way we can, so we can end up, in the same place on the resurrection morning. That's my consolation. So it's for me to just look at the lessons and then live my life in a way that even will better his. And I believe he will be happy for that. Okay? And that's why I'm starting some of the things I will do in his honor and in recognizing him and remembering him with these tributes that will forever be here on YouTube and every other medium where it is shared, and people will benefit from it. 5 great lessons I picked from him. Okay? Number 1, effective thinking. Yes, thinking is a great need. Everybody needs to think. We think our ways out of things and issues in life, yes. So thinking is an endeavor that any aspiring, successful, and even already successful person needs to practice. But you see, coming in contact with this man, I got to learn a major skill on how to think, using the simple tool of a pen and a paper. Most times, when I go to him to discuss business or anything, or we are in a board meeting because we did a number of businesses together, or we are rationalizing or, thinking or strategizing over something, he has never failed to bring out a pen and a paper. He will use any paper he can find in sight if he doesn't have a small journal with him, okay? And draw things down, thinking as he's talking, using his pen on paper, and then arriving at whatever conclusion. As you are making your suggestions, he's considering it, punching the paper, doing the calculation, drawing the graph, drawing the arrows, plotting the maps, and that is, he thinks with a paper and a pen. I didn't know how strategic and how important that is to hate thinking until I started observing it and also started practicing it in my own life. Now, I know that ordinarily I'm a lot, you can say, analog. So I still keep, for example, regular hard copy diaries, okay? He doesn't do that. He's very electronic, okay? But I still do that. So a lot of times I work with to-dos and all of that. But you see, I started keeping journals. I started keeping notepads from observing him. I started thinking, using my pen and paper also from observing him. And I realized that, wow, it hates thinking a lot, because you can imagine the act of thinking aloud, thinking to yourself, okay, so, for example, how do I remember a time in my organization, I wanted to be sure that we have one person that can always replace another person on every role. That is, in every role available, every strategic role available in the organization. Per time, we have 2 people that can work in that capacity, and life will go on. The person currently occupying that seat and another person occupying another seat. Either that the person can be moved, okay, or the person can combine it. I mean, I had to think through that process, writing, saying, okay, so this is the role of our operations. The operations person is in charge of accounts, human capital unit, is in charge of our admin. Okay, this is the qualification of this person currently. Who else in this unit or in this organization can start to look at this role? And I started looking at all the other people, okay, this person, and I tied everything up, having someone else beyond the person currently occupying every strategic seat that can fill that position. That is how thinking is done, okay? Not just by thinking, closing your eyes and trying to focus on the top of your brain, as it were your head. You know, not just that. I mean, for a lot of people, that may not be as effective because you can get distracted, your thought process can get disconnected and stuff like that. But when you really want to engage in a very serious art of thinking, okay, using your pen and a paper would really help. I never knew how fantastic that method was until I even did some research on YouTube, thinking tools and all our methods. And I saw a lot of people sharing things about how this is a very powerful thinking tool and method. Okay, utilize it. When next you need to think about something, get a pen, get a paper, start speaking to yourself, start itemizing things. You will see that you start from point A and you get to point Z, which is where you are going. That was one point. It was great. So the number 2 lesson is that from Mr. Akin Olawore, time management was about compartmentalizing his life. Okay? Compartmentalizing his life. Now, it was so outstanding to know that he was involved in a lot of things and he impacted so many lives. And people kept wondering how he could do this, I mean, by himself. I mean, I can remember what somebody said when they heard that he was also playing musical instrument. He was blowing the saxophone. And his music teacher came to, render a number, one of his favorite hymn at the service, I think the Wake Up. And one of his staff, said, wow, you mean Oga? That was how he plays sax. Again, as in, how does he do all of these things? How is he able to combine all these things together? Somebody said it that day also, that he had asked him that question before and he shared. And a number of times, I've had opportunities of sharing with him, how do you do all of these things? And the simple explanation is, Debo, I compartmentalize my life. He has his schedules. When you have an appointment with Olawore, he will pull out his phone. I told you he's very savvy electronically. He will pull out his phone, check the diary. Once he agrees a day and time with you, he slots it into his phone. And that synchronizes across his laptop and stuff like that, goes into his Google Calendar, and you are set. You can be sure that he has taken note of that. If he's going to change, if there is any reason why, he's going to call you before the day. That's how he does it. And he said, once I'm in a place, I know the hours, the minutes I'm supposed to spend there. When I'm there, I give full concentration to that place. I contribute my quota while there, 100% presence of mind. And once the time that I'm supposed to spend is over, I'm off. And I can testify to there are so many meetings where we've been to, and the meeting was estimated to be for 1 hour or so or thereabout. He has planned himself, and by the time he's exceeding 1 hour, he probably doesn't have more than about 5 minutes or 10 to spare more. Otherwise, he's gone. He would excuse himself because he's already scheduled to be somewhere else, okay, or to be doing something else. And whenever he's there, he gives you 100%. And he says, when I leave that place, I forget everything about that place because I've given my all. I'm now in this new place. I focus on this new place, or I'm now doing this new thing. I focus. So it's compartmentalized. When I'm to be in Rotary, I know I'm in Rotary. When I'm to be in a board meeting, I know I'm in a board meeting. The time that I'm supposed to spend is there, and I go off. Instead of, after a meeting, people gisting and all of, you hardly find Olawore doing such. Before you know it, it's gone. Before you know it, is gone. If he wants to be somewhere ahead of time so that he can probably take one meeting or the other. I've seen Olawore schedule a meeting and it's before maybe a Skype meeting he has with some of his partners abroad, and he will go to the venue early so he can just have his Skype meeting, because the Skype meeting is supposed to be ending just like 5 minutes before the time. And he's just so organized. And he said the secret is not just about, one is living by the calendar, not to-do list. What he does is he fills up his calendar. That gives him what to do way before the day comes. So he knows. He checks himself and then he prepares himself, compartmentalize, and tries to give his 100%. And I picked that from him in trying to also compartmentalize such that, and people wonder why or how do I combine the few things that I combine. I'm just trying to exercise that grace, okay? And that's one major thing. He was able to achieve a whole lot. It meant a whole lot to the student that is still in estate management department in one school that has never met him, just on Facebook, on WhatsApp and all, and he has impacted to people that he's mentoring in the profession, to people that his office actually is like a training ground for estate surveyors and valuers. People refer their friends to go and work with him, to go and do IT so that they can be trained in that way and in the profession. But he concentrates on compartmentalizing. That's how he became efficient in his time management and is meeting all his requirements that he needs to. He said the early riser is on time always, except Lagos unexpected whatever. It's always on time. It's always, that's one thing, that is always on time regarding anything. If Mr. Olawore is not on time concerning something, there is a challenge. And he didn't tell you ahead, there's a challenge. Okay? So that was one lesson. Compartmentalization of your life. Helping you to be more efficient with your usage of time management and all. That's number 2. The number 3 lesson that I picked from AO, Mr. Akin Olawore, as we normally call him, okay, is that networking is something you can't do without. And you have to network far and wide. Is the person that taught me to realize that, hey, Debo, traveling as a business person within the country and outside, across continents, is an investment. It is not luxury. When I first started business, I usually think about, wow, the cost of making a trip. And I would say, wow, this is too expensive. I don't think I can make it now. And I remember one of the trips he invited me to take, and we were discussing about how to afford it. And I said, Debo, he told me, Debo, this is one thing I do, okay? Traveling for me is an investment, okay? You have to start to see it that way. That way, it will help you to be able to accommodate the cost, knowing that the gains will come because you are networking. Wherever you're going, you are extending your tentacle, okay? That's it. You are extending your tentacles there. And you can spread and start making money from that place. He taught me that great lesson. He was a great networker. Wow. Mr. Olawore was a great networker. He had his way around how he networked. It's not that he would just go around making noise, meeting people and all. But he had a very strategic way on how he networked. One of it was exposing himself to going to new places, meeting new people, traveling home and abroad. And that's why he was able to grow his practice beyond just the shores of Nigeria. He's a renowned international estate surveyor and valuer. He had business interests in Rwanda, Kenya, in Portugal, Spain, London. He had it all around. US. He had extensive tentacle that I can't even begin to count, okay, and recount. That was it. And I mean, he started a number of associations, became executive in a number of places. He served. I remember when I first met him, I met him as a banker. His account was one of the accounts I used to manage. And whenever I go to his office, those days when there was no GSM phone yet, I'll just go to his office expecting to meet him. Whenever I meet him, most of the time I observe is either that he's just coming from a meeting or he's going to a meeting, or whilst he's there, his staff, they will be bringing in checks, minutes, things that has to do with one association or the other. For example, on Mondays, this man goes for Rotary meetings. What Rotary meetings, if you know, are held on Mondays. And that was where I got shocked. For me as a young banker, I felt this man can't be serious. How can somebody be a serious businessman on Monday when people, Mondays in banks are hot days. You have meetings, very busy days, And on Mondays, he will go for half of the day, more or less, will be spent in the Rotary meeting. I said, wow, how come? How is this man really making it? Until I started to observe him, that I realized that, wow, I'm the one that wasn't as up to date as I thought, because those meetings, those places were where he was getting his clients and businesses. So I realized that if you want to meet anybody, he was highly connected. And that was because of his networking strategy. He was a golfer, a committed golfer. And I know businesses and contacts that he got on the golf course. Okay? He played golf anywhere, any part of the world, wherever he travels to. He plays his golf and he mingles with people. And before you know it, if you need to reach out to anybody, just call AO. And you can be sure that he would either know the person directly or he knows one person at least that will know that person. That was a great networker. And he told me, I was his caddy one of these days. He tried to introduce me to golf very long ago. But I don't know what happened to me. It was really a very boring day for me. I was just carrying his golf club stuff, walking up and down and talking to him. The part of the whole day that I enjoyed was the fact that I had time to spend with him and talk to him and share ideas and all. The game itself, I didn't really see what it was that they were benefiting. So I really never. It was only this year I made up my mind that, hey, I was going to now get into golf playing. Alas, the person that would have helped me do that is gone. But no matter what, to his memory and in his tribute, in his honor, I would make sure I tick the golf game on my bucket list. Definitely. Okay? So, and because it's a very good networking tool, actually. So he exposed himself to a lot of all of these things. Networking, traveling, letting me know that, hey, it is not a cost, it's an investment. Spend all you can on it, and you will definitely make money because you are extending your tentacles that way if you know how to. That was the number 3 lesson. The 4th lesson that I'm sharing with you from what I picked up from my great mentor, Mr. Akin Olawore, in tribute to him, is that when you have to exit a relationship, never slam the door. Try your best to never ever slam the door. Now, its reason is you may find out that you would need to use it again, or even in your absence. Okay? Your matters will be raised. And why would you want someone to dissent, regarding you, especially where you are not there or when you are not there to protect yourself? So that at best, if you try to be good, there will be people that will be bad. Okay? So limit what you generate for yourself by never ever slamming the door. You have enough enemies without that already. Don't add to it. So he will tell me every human being deserves to be respected. Always try to find the good in them. Even when you have to part ways, because you would have to part ways with people in life, never part ways slamming the door. Always make it that the relationship can still be opened. It's still cordial enough for you to revisit if you have to. I can remember sometimes I can be very restless, okay? And it's something I'm trying to manage. And sometimes I can't just take I mean, what I see that is obviously wrong, especially when it comes to you accusing me of something that, I mean, I'm innocent about. My reputation, integrity matters to me. And so we're in this situation where someone was insinuating something that wasn't, I mean, that I wasn't going to accept, because that wasn't it at all. And I raised my voice in that discussion. That was a business, and it was a board meeting. He was the chairman of that entity, okay? And at that board meeting, the way he comported himself, the way he listened to both of us, me sometimes screaming on, the top of my voice right in his office, the other party also raising his voice at some point, and he would just bring our tempo down when it is time to talk and make us see reasons and things like that, and still, was able to mediate, telling us precisely what he thinks about what each party has done wrong and what each party has done right and what should be done correctly, okay? And I was just blown away that how could this man, knowing also that some of the things this person was saying, because he's the part of the company, he knows that this, right, how was he able to keep his calm and still be able to, communicate his displeasure in a calm way? I couldn't, And sometimes these are situations that lead to you exiting a relationship with a slam door, because you exited on very emotional notes, bad emotional notes, discharges here and there, said things you probably wouldn't have said or shouldn't have said, and once said, you can't unsay. It's already heard and cannot be, so he taught me, Debo, you must learn to be able to exit relationship without having to slam the door. So I always try to make sure, when I have to fire people, even for obvious wrong that they've done to the organization, I try to make sure that I do it in a way that would not lead to, they are the ones that has done wrong, in a way that would not lead to shouting or things like that, such that, in future, if the person is asked of royalty point, he may be able to even say something good of myself, even though we parted ways, even though we may never be able to do business together again, because maybe integrity and all of those things are involved in terms of honesty and all of that. But never slam the door. Never slam the door. I've seen people pass through him, okay, and they are instrumental to him getting large ticket transactions years later, because he had very cordial relationship. And so I try to not, look down on anybody and never slam the door. Even if I have to exit a relationship, I exit it in a way that we can still be at least friends on talking terms. Okay? That is one major lesson. Number 4 that I picked up from this gem of a man called Akin Olawore. The number 5 lesson that I'm sharing that I picked from Mr. Olawore, observing his life, talking to him, doing business with him, staying with him and all of that, is that you need to always be learning. Never stop being a student. Mr. Olawore was always learning one thing or the other, especially about his profession and all that has to do with real estate. What he told me was, hey, knowledge is a magnet. When you know what to do, when you know something, it makes you and helps you to attract people to yourself. And then you can be in a position to decide who really you want to get really, really close to. But you have the advantage in the fact that because you have something up here, a lot of people want to get close to you. And so you can pick the people that you want to get close to and aid your business. You don't have to mingle with the wrong crowd. He likes to avoid that. But you see, he helps himself by making sure that he positions himself as a knowledge box, where if you require one thing or the other, you will probably have to get to him. And so I find out that a lot of times he's an advisor, He's a member of the trustee of his profession, Nigeria Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuer. I mean, he was appointed trustee not too long ago, because, I mean, I can remember when he died, some of the comments I had was something like, you know, that I thought this man was much older than his age. One, he has some kind of look that makes you think that he's older. One. Two, people said since they've been hearing his name, it's been years, ages ago, I mean, over 30, 40 years. So they used to think that somebody definitely, if he's not in his 70s, he's close to it. They were shocked to know that, wow, he was just 58 going to 59 when he passed on. Meaning that he had actually started to operate at a very high end in his career whilst he was just about 30, in his early 30s. You can imagine that. He had already attained that level. And so, at 58, he was already a board of trust member of his profession. You can imagine that. And all of this, he arrived at by ensuring that he's constantly learning. I mean, I remember when technology is very open to technology. I remember it was the one that first encouraged me, Debo, you need to get GPS, okay? And you need to know how to use it. Oh, Google had. You can locate that property. Just send me the coordinates and we can locate the property. Way back, you know, these are the things things that an ordinary SSV and valuer will not really count and all of that. He was learning it. He was the one that introduced my surveyor to me, the one I used, and who taught him how to use the GPS at the time and also taught me how to, you know. He was always learning. He was always ready to learn. I remember mediation. I introduced him to mediation advocacy, where we had the fortune of having Professor Goodman from Standing Conference of Mediation Advocates, UK, introduced to us by our good friend, Barrister Valentine Buoro. You know, we got into the mediation route and immediately mediation advocacy. But before I knew it, Mr. Olawore was already a mediator, already mediating in the multi-door courthouse and extensively already renowned there. He was a mediator, he was everything, you know, because he opened himself, auctioneering. He started a business doing auction trading, auctioning things in Nigeria. It didn't go quite well, but he didn't because of that, jettisoning that, okay? He was still a member of the Nigerian Auctioneers Association or something like that, you know. He's as an estate surveyor and valuer. He did his valuation with a lot of professionals, working in collaboration with them, networking with them, sharing with them experiences and skills. He believed that if we collaborate, wow, collaboration was another great thing. But that's just, I didn't list that as one of the 5 things, okay? That's another thing. He would rather collaborate than compete. That's where I picked it from. First, was always emphasizing, hey, we can work together, we can work together, we can work together. We don't have to compete because there's enough for us. He was always telling me that from day one. And I saw it in his life and the way he ran his business, okay? So that was that's another lesson, that I picked from him. Be a knowledge box, and that will make you a magnet. You will start attracting. And by that, you can get connected to as many people that you want to get connected to aid whatever it is that you are setting out to do. Okay? Now, so those are the 5 lessons. I believe that you've thoroughly enjoyed them and you would pay attention to a number of them if you've not before now. And if you've probably just glossed over them in your life before, you now see that, hey, these things can be important, and drill further down to really get into the meat of the matter and start to see the effects in your own life. These are some of the lessons I picked up from my great mentor, Akin Olawore. Well, just as a bonus, let me tell you something that I'm still trying to pick up from him now that he's gone. He was a consummate professional like myself, and he dressed for it. Because he's an estate surveyor and valuer, and in a way they pride themselves in dressing very formally. You would hardly see Mr. Akin Olawore from Monday to Friday dressed in any other thing other than very well tailored suits, shirts and tie to match, very good shoes, very good wristwatch, always well dressed, was always neatly, professionally dressed. I dress neatly. I dress professionally depending on what you call professional. So that's something I don't. I wear traditional stuff because I consider it, I say whatever I call professional is what is professional. In my own kind of climate, hey, my traditional outfit complete with my cap, is also a corporate entity. And I see him do that also. I mean, some occasions when they say it's corporate, especially when it's weekend, he will say, okay, if it's corporate, he will just have it complete, have his cap on and all of that when he's doing the traditional. But on Mondays to Fridays, it's as if he just cannot wear anything. I hardly have seen him, except he's on vacation or something, he's not working and all. I hardly have seen him in anything other than his very well tailored suits, shirts, matching tie, and very good shoes. I mean, very well neatly dressed and presented. I don't wear, for me, I think that I've worn enough of suits, especially in my previous life. Before I became a real estate entrepreneur, I was a banker and I didn't have any choice. I had to. And so when I became an entrepreneur, I just tried to express myself in other ways that I would love to. So I'm not sure I can commit to you seeing me Mondays to Friday in suits. I'm not promising you. I didn't pick that from Olawore, but that was Olawore for you. Great man, great man. And this is to his tribute. Let me read my tribute that I wrote to him just in closing. The title of the tribute is Tribute to a Mentor of Mentors. I still wish it was all a dream and I will soon wake up, but alas, we have committed your body to Mother Earth. Debe, which is how you used to hail me, has been replaying in my head endlessly for some days now. Someone should please tell me that those broad smiles are not gone forever. Death, this is a grievous blow. My consolation is that you lived while you were here. Yes, you lived. In hindsight, it now looks like you lived so briskly because you knew it would be this brief. I'm grateful I knew you. I'm honored you mentored me. You were such a great part of my real estate business life from get-go. I thank God for the gift of you and for the life you lived. Highly cerebral, professional, yet very level-headed, cultured, and a gentleman to the core. No hairs around you, always welcoming and ready to help. I'll miss you. I'll miss your gentle nurture and the quiet but very reassuring you can do it feeling you give. You would always be part of my story. Good night, mentor, friend, business partner, and industry father figure. See you again on the resurrection morning. Debo Adejana, one of the lives you touched. That was my tribute to him, and it's still emotional each time I read it. But then, like I told you, my consolation is that he's in a good place and he's just urging us on to carry on the good work. My commitment is that I will keep carrying on the good work that Mr. Akin Olawore is known for. Those are my lessons. Some of the lessons I'm willing to share with you that I picked up from my mentor, and I believe that you have gained something. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please click the like button. What have you been doing? You've not clicked the like button? Wow, no. Please don't do this to me. Don't do this to yourself. Click the like button now. Yes. Yes, now. Yes, I'm talking now. Thank you. Now, if you've not subscribed, please subscribe to this and share it with your friends. Tell them this is the YouTube channel to belong to if you are a real estate player in any part of the world. You'll pick tons of lessons. So please subscribe, click the notification button so that once we drop videos, you'll be one of the first to be notified. Follow me on other social media handles. Instagram, Twitter, I'm Debo Adejana. Debo Adejana at Debo Adejana, Instagram and Twitter. I'll be looking forward to meeting up with you. If you have any comments, you want to engage us in any way, below, post your comments and we will engage with you. Let's take this conversation from off here. Thank you very much. It's been my pleasure. Till I come your way in another episode, I remain yours sincerely, Debo Adejana, in the business of helping you sack your landlord. Thank you.